All right. I think this is probably going to be it's either going to be, well, it's definitely going to be the final assignment that's on PowerPoint. But then we'll see if there might be one more assignment after this, which could be somehow involving a bunch of other things. Things being the other products that we've been using. So I wanted to say this. So first, I did look ahead at the MindTap thing, and actually there is a glaring problem with the next module, which would have prevented anyone from actually doing it. So I'm kind of glad again I chose not to do that. And also I was looking at what they were going to do, and it's kind of going, yeah, I mean, that's cool. It's a cool trick, but it's not really what a lot of people do with PowerPoint. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do something that is actually, it can happen quite a bit. Imagine that you've got yourself this fabulous paper, a paper which I will make sure that you guys have access to. And this one you might remember was the planets, and it was a word, and it was meant to sort of demonstrate, putting pictures in. It was meant to demonstrate putting subtitles. It was meant to demonstrate the footers and the headers, and all that kind of, probably a couple other ideas too. But imagine now a paper's so good that someone says to you, you know what? I'd really love it if you made that into a presentation. Well, what do you do? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually, and this is what you'll be doing, is we're going to basically convert our fabulous Word document to an actual PowerPoint slide. And so the way I can envision this happening is that I'm going to start off, then I'll probably pause the video, I'll probably do a little bit more of the text, and then I'm going to come back. But the other thing that we're going to do here is I want to have just sort of a raw conversion of it. And then I want to sort of go back in and finesse it a little bit with actual like PowerPoint stuff. And then I will likely want to talk about builds and transitions because that's the thing that I think that you guys really should know. So here we go. Um, so of course, I rarely spend any time thinking about the actual theme, but I noticed the book constantly did. So I'm just going to go down. I'm going to look to see what would be a good theme that would go with this. I would think something nice and dark would probably be good. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. And that's just straight black. I'm going to go straight black for now. So I'm going to go straight black. There's my theme, and I am going to stop suggesting until I restart. Yep, I'm going to do that. And so, what are we going to do here? Well, first of all, the title is obviously going to be this. So let's put that into the title. All right, beautiful. And then I'm going to basically give it this copy, and I'm going to make that the subtitle. And then the other thing, by the way, a lot of times is you sometimes do need to add a little bit more stuff. So I'm going to take this guy, and do I want it in the subtitle? I don't know. If you just want to take straight text, you can then basically copy it as I just did, Control C, Control V, paste it. Now watch what's happening. It's black on black. That's pretty gross. So let's fix that right away yeah, sure. Okay, let's do that again. Do that again. And I want to make that text white, please. I'll make it white, just like this guy. Actually, I don't even know what color that is. So, if I don't know what color that is, I use the paintbrush, and I'm just going to go and paint it. Okay, there you go. It got a little bit bigger, not a big deal. I'm going to move this guy over here. This is centered. That's gross. Let's make it not centered, but make it left probably. And I will shrink it a little bit. So let's go smaller, smaller. Beautiful. I don't know if I like that. Oh, by the way, okay, so it's going to be presented for this. It's not so much the author, but this is going to be the presenter. And then let's let's pretend we're presenting on a date, and I'm going to basically present tomorrow. Oh, but that's not tomorrow. It's this time. And again, notice, it's different font. So that paintbrush is your friend. There you go. All right. Am I sold on that? You know what? Maybe not. Maybe you don't. This is the beautiful part. PowerPoint kind of forces you to sort of think through this stuff. How about that? That might be better. Sure, I like that. Okay, cool. Now, that's the text. What about this beautiful picture that was so important to me? So what I'm thinking with the picture is I'm going to go copy. So again, Control C. And now I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to go paste. All right. So what am I going to do with this picture? Well, let's make it a little bit bigger. All right. And this is key. it's sitting on top of my text. That's gross. How can I fix that? Well, what I can do is I can click on the picture, I can right click, and then I can go send to back. And now it's behind my picture. All right. Now, I'm sure this is not that great either for what we're trying to do here. So let me think about one more thing I might be tempted to do. One more thing I might be tempted to do is, well, okay, a cheap way to get around this is to basically just click on this box, which has got my text in it. If I right click on it, notice that there's a fill. I could fill that with black. Now, I'm doing the, am am I doing the actual line or am I doing the, no, fill, yeah, fill. So I'm going to fill with black. So that's one cheap way to do it. And then, bring it down a little bit so it doesn't totally get rid of all my stuff. Do the same thing with this guy, right click, fill with black, black, thank you, and bring it back up. That sort of solves that problem. And not that great though. Oh, I do not want to spend an hour trying to make this thing look beautiful, but you know what? It's a responsibility. We suffer for our art. Okay, so let's do that. And then as far as this guy goes, he's just also going to get the straight black. I don't really care that it's blocking any of that stuff behind there. So let's do that. Now, black, 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 beautiful. And then maybe if I'm going to do that, you know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. Yeah, I promised I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to go to this corner with the picture. I'm not sure what you're doing there. So let's just quickly stop that. Do I have two pictures there? Surely not. No, I don't. Okay. So let's go here and let's grab it. And I'm just going to stretch it a little bit like that. And I'm going to see what does it look like if I stretch it straight across. Does it really look that bad? No, it does not. Okay. You could argue it does, but whatever. I'll just move that there. Perfect. Okay. Okay, I'm happy. So now I got myself my title page. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next thing. We don't need a table of contents. We can skip that. We don't need figures. We can skip that. I don't really necessarily need an introduction. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have an agenda though. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to a new slide and actually I'm totally not talking about what was talking about in the previous thing. I can go and look at the layouts of the new slides and have a look. Is any of this going to be kind of what I want? I think that probably this one, title only, would be good. Because what I would like to do with did you just, oh, you just changed that one. That was sweet. That's not what I want to do. I want a new one, sorry, new title. All right, I want this guy to be basic introduction. It won't be an introduction so much. It's going to be an agenda. Actually, no, screw that. Introduction. We'll keep it the same. Introduction. Beautiful. And then, yeah, this is important text. So we're going to grab this text, copy, and we're going to go outside of that text box there. I'm going to go Control V, and there it is again. Of course, it's not even close to what I want because it's all like the wrong color. So let's go to, okay, right click. Thank you. Where's my, yeah, I want it to be white, please. Thank you very much. And again, it's pretty small. That's pretty small and pretty gross looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand this a little bit just so that the word wrapping happens a bit like that. We're going to make it bigger and add some space because no one likes bunched up stuff. And I'm basically uh, doing, or whatever, doing this presentation because my instructor of the planets and wants to help me learn more about Microsoft PowerPoint. All right, good deal. Beautiful. That's the introduction's done. And what I'm going to basically say here is maybe I'm going to just take that line and I'm going to put it over into here. And I'm just going to move it down. Now notice with the link, it doesn't look bad. I'm going to just take this thing. Actually, I'll take out the whole thing, make it look white again. Is that? Yeah, here's another way you can do this. Beautiful. Make it big. And when it comes to things like a sort of almost a footnote, what I like to do is sort of, take it and move it so it's sort of down at the bottom and good enough. Okay, so there's my introduction. Good deal. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of these. So I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to pause the video and then get the rest of them in there. All right. So here's one. So I think looking at the new slides and all the various formats, I think we're probably good with something. This is sort of a comparison, but I think like it's going to be a two content kind of slide. So let's go and do that. And this title is going to be Mercury. Okay. Mercury. And this is going to be a picture. I'm just going to grab this picture, and I don't have them saved anywhere, neither will you. So I'm just going to basically paste that picture, and I'm going to put it over here and make it look reasonable. Okay, so there he is. He's about there. And then this guy's going to be all this. I don't need my figure one, by the way, because in theory I'll be talking about it. So I'm going to take all this. Do I need the footnotes? We're going to do the footnotes in a slightly different way. So don't bother taking your footnote. So here I'm going to put paste. So again, I've got a bunch of text. Put that text over here. Make it look a little bit better. Again, with the color scheme that we've kind of want to do here. That's white, white. Okay, thank you. And you know, sometimes these guys here, you can just delete them. Just get rid of. Oops. Well, I'm going to get rid of this guy is what I meant to do. Delete. I'm going to go paste and just put this guy in its spot. Okay. Now, what would I do to make this thing look a little bit better? Make it white, by the way. And it's got to be bigger font. Font bigger. Now let's have a look. What have we done? Because here's the deal. I'm going to spend a lot of time on this particular one, and then after that, it should be pretty easy. So it's oh, it was not italicized here. Is it only italicized once? Oh, well, look at that. I was inconsistent in the document. Okay, well, I think it's better to make that italicized. So I'm going to do that. So now it's italics. And this is very chunky, right? It's a very chunky piece of text, and I guess they probably all are. So what I would do here is start to really think about how do I want to change the text. So first of all, this is the smallest planet in our solar system. So I'm going to basically make that a point, right? It's a smaller solar system. That's one point. It is the closest one to the sun. So it's the closest one to the sun. That's beautiful. Um, okay, hit enter again. It's rocky surface marked with craters resembling Earth's moon. Great. It's almost got no way to retain heat. It experiences okay, so it experiences extreme temperatures. Okay, so that's good. So these I think would be better served as bullet points. So what we're going to do is make them bullet points. That's what I would do. All right. And so now what I've done is rather than just dump a bunch of text in there, I've sort of made it look all kind of sort of wonderful. That's by the way, I'm going to get rid of this too. All right. So that is sort of my Mercury thing for now. That's my Mercury thing. I'm going to do the same thing now with all the other planets. Uh, did I say yeah, planets and dwarf planets? So, yeah. So I tell you what, I'm condemning myself to do this. You're going to do this too. I'm going to go through all of these planets and basically do a slide for each, and I will be back. Before I do it, I should point out how am I going to do this? I've settled that on this idea that this is the format that I like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on slide 3 at the top here. I'm going to go copy, and then I'm going to go paste. Didn't work. So maybe click here, copy, paste, 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 paste. And now what I'm going to do is as I go through each of these, it should be a little bit easier for me just to move my stuff over. So I'll tell you what, while you're watching, let me do Venus. So I'm going to go here, click on Venus, do this, make it Venus. I'm going to take this picture. I've got it copied again. So again, make sure I got it copied. Go over here. I delete. Actually, I'm going to keep it for a second because I'm going to paste Venus. And I want, oops, and I want to make sure that Venus looks, thank you. Okay, you're just going to keep doing that. Okay. I've selected Venus. I'm going to put it right over top. So it's about the same. Perfect. Then send it to back. That's Mercury. Make sure I click on Mercury. And now I got Venus. Perfect. Then as far as this goes, here's my little poem. Copy, bring it over and paste just the text. And what's going to happen is it's kept the same italicized format. This thing's going to be a little bit tougher, but I'm going to go copy, and I'm going to come over here, paste just the text, and now I'm going to basically do my changes. So this is not Venus is often. I don't need to repeat the name of the planet. Often called its twin size, but whatever. Um, but very different. Sure. It is thick clouds of carbon dioxide creating that, making it the hottest solar system. And the other point is that it's dry, it's surface dry. And now I'm done. Right? So there's Venus. Okay, now I'm going to pause and do the rest of them. All right. So I've done a whole bunch of these guys now. I'm down to the last one. And so I thought I'd again drill home how I want you guys to do this. So as you can see, I've been sort of copy paste, copy paste, copy paste here. We've got two more copy paste. I only got one more to go. So let's change this guy to Iris. So I click on that. I go Iris. And then I click on this wonderful picture, which is probably an artist rendition of it. I go Control V. So again, I'm clicking on the image, Control C. You don't really see me doing that. And then I come over here, I make sure my focus, so I click over on the slide, and then my focus is on the slide when I go Control V, and I get it. And actually, yeah, okay. And you know what? I'm just gonna put you right in the middle for now. And then I, because most of the time the image is actually covering the whole thing, I send it to the back, and then click on again because that's now my focus is on this object. I delete it, and then he's sitting there, sitting pretty. Remember, Control Z is your best friend when you mess up. So just paste the text, and I think this is it for the thing. I've also pretty well gone off any idea of the footnotes now. Forget the footnotes. Don't worry about the footnotes. We'll just do it here. The other thing I've done too is some of these guys I have got rid of the name. Some of them I've done, like this one, I'm just going to go and make it again a bullet point. You want to keep the noise to content ratio in balance here, right? So I'm going to basically take that sentence. That sentence becomes its own bullet point, and that gets its own bullet point. Okay, so now they're all done. I got an extra slide. I'm going to delete it for now. Normally, I'd be tempted to put works cited and stuff like that in there. Um, I'm not going to at this point, but what I will do is I'll go new slide, and it's going to be basically it's going to be a title slide to which I'm just going to basically say thank you. Now, if you want an image that isn't necessarily one of these images, and I guess I don't need this anymore, so we're going to just expand that. So you want to basically insert another image. You got some choices here, right? You can insert from pictures, stock images, online pictures, obviously just grabbing stuff off of a Word document we've just done as well. I'm going to go and see what the stock pictures have for a thank you. So I'll go in here, I'll go thank you and see what it comes back with. Well, none of that's any good. Let's check the icons out. Let's check that out. Let's check that out. Let's check that out. Oh, the cat's kind of cute. I will say that. Illustrations, cartoon people. So, I don't think that's very good. Let's try if I go gratitude. See what, oh, thank you very much. I want gratitude now. Gratitude. You're not going to do it for me? Okay, I see. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. Okay. Gratitude. Wow, a lot of Thanksgiving stuff here. How appropriate, but that's not what I want. 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 Surf during a video. Okay, okay. So none of that is any good. Don't like it. So now I'm going to go insert online pictures. What do you have for me here, Mr. Was that where I was? No, that wasn't where I was. Okay, so it's now going to be searching Bing because, of course, it's a Microsoft product. But again, here I'm going to go thank you and see what it does. So there's some beautiful moments there. Does anything look particularly spacey or whatever? Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to know why these things blocked out, but oh, I see. Oh, I see what. Okay, sure. So in theory, you won't get into trouble using these if you were to actually put this on a YouTube channel or something. I think you know what. This is pretty academic. Let's do this one. I'm going to go thank you. I'm going to go insert, and there it is. Way too big for what I want. That's even bigger for what I want. What I want to do is I want to just shrink the thing, put it here. All right, now one a few more image things here. Way up here, Saturn was a bit of a problem because I actually had it was too wide. So I was thinking about this and I thought, I'm not sure I told you guys about this trick, but with any of these images, well, I definitely didn't tell you in PowerPoint. With any of these images, you do have the ability in picture format to crop them. And so here's a nice little cropping thing. Notice that the handles or whatever have become a little bit different, and I can pull it in and now it's not using that much space. I can pull it up. That's not cropping. That's cropping. All right, do that. So now, as soon as I click off, this piece is going to get cut out. This piece is going to get cut out just as if it was a pair of scissors. And now I can take this thing and finish it off. And to be honest, that's close enough there. Send it to back and then get rid of the other image. All right, so that's pretty cool. Now, other things to make this a little bit cooler is these are all boxy. I also want to point out that if you go to picture format, I like this guy here. This is a nice little soft edge rectangle. That could be good for that, especially for Saturn. For some of these guys, if you want to click on the picture, and you can kind of get a little cute there. And I think there's also a fuzzy one there too. I don't know, what would that look like with Saturn? Saturn, would that look? One thing is to be relatively consistent. Oh, wow. Well, actually looks pretty good. Okay, so you know what? That's what I'm going to pick. So I'm going to go click, and I think I could be wrong, as I've been wrong several times. But if we go Format Painter, look at that. So I'm going to do that for all of them. Now, here's a cool trick with paint format with the Format Painter, which exists in all these products. You double click, and now what you can do is just go with Gay Abandon and just click on all these guys and not have to keep going back and forth. So there we go. Look at how, oh, it's not going to work there. Okay, we're going to come back and do something different. Going to do something different. Go back up to here. Let's get Mercury on board. Awesome. And then we don't like it anymore. You can just click on that. The reason I didn't like that for that sphere for these non-spherical ones is it's not a sphere. So what I thought instead that would be a good one for that would probably be the first one I liked right there. That'd be good. They'll never notice. They'll if that's what they're paying attention to, they're not really paying attention to the content I want. And for goodness sakes, try these ones out. Just look at them. Look and see what they actually do. There's some really neat things you can do with images. Okay, so now we got this thing. It's almost done. So we think great. What else did I do? Oh, sorry. The other thing I did is in the Word document, I forgot that I actually had sections. So I had, for example, dwarf planets, and then I had up here planets, right? So in the end, I just made two other slides, planets, and then dwarf planets. All right, so that's kind of what that is. Now, let's do the fun part now. So now all this content is in. We're feeling pretty good. Oh, by the way, up here, you know what I might do for this too? Is there? Well, no, I think I'll just leave this as this. I'm still not super happy with this. This is a very busy slide, and I would be tempted to maybe rethink and maybe not even include this image, but whatever, it's fine. All right, so yeah. So what I do want to talk now a little bit about. Oh, by the way, a long time ago, I should have done this. I'm going to save it right now. So I'm going to save it over here in my, not my OneDrive because I don't trust it. I'm going to save it in my downloads because that's where all my garbage goes. Where are your downloads? Right there. Planets and dwarf planets. Beautiful. Boom. So now it's saved. And my autosave is off. Good. Okay. So right now, if I was to present this, and remember F5 or this button, that does the presenting, and I can just go and it looks beautiful. And that's more or less the way most of these things are presented. Okay. I'm about to show you something that I want you to use with caution because it isn't necessarily a great idea. And the idea is that of a transition. So if I go from planets to Mercury, I have choices as to how this slide gets loaded up. I cannot for the life of me. Oh, well, there's animations, but that's not what this is. That's not an animation, I don't think. Oh, it could be. They used to be called, no, I think transitions, Grant. All right. All right. So when right now, this guy's got no transition. And so at this point, if I want to, I can say, hey, why don't you do a push up? And that's what it's going to look like. I don't know if you're watching here. I'm going to click on this one and go push up. And that's what it's going to look like. So now when I do this PowerPoint presentation and I go hit the button, hit the button, hit the button, it's pushing up now. Hit the button, it's pushing up now. And it's okay. That's a reasonable transition. I suppose when over here, I could maybe try a shape. That's another kind of cool one. Flash, which I would encourage you not to do. Curtains is kind of a neat. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous too. Just remember, whatever. Oh wow, actually, some of these are new to me. So wow, okay. It's dependent on your audience as to what you want to do, right? When I'm dealing sometimes with build slides, which I'm going to show you in a minute, it actually can slow the presenter down, and that's not necessarily what you want. The other thing, though, is animations, and I think, yeah, they become highlighted when you're actually clicking on this on text, and probably other things too. Yeah, basically objects, but mostly with text. Now, I think let's do it with this guy here. Let's put a bounce on him. So there you go. Pretty cute, huh? Let's put a zoom on him. Whoop. So now let's keep that animation in place. Let's go to the transition and make it a reveal. Okay, I'm curious to know how will those work together? How will they play together? Let's try this out. All right. So what's happening? This animation here is set to go on mouse click. So when I actually ran it, okay, so now it's doing the build thing. It's going to sit there and wait until I actually click on a mouse, and then it'll build up. Be careful about that. You can always set it up to go just a little, like a second or so after. I think it's a second. Yeah, it's a second after. So let's see that. This loads, and then that comes up. You can do that. And then the other thing, I think, no, not here. I want animations. Hmm. Okay, so what I'm thinking about, by the way, is that if these texts were in their own boxes, I believe, well, I know for a fact you could animate them and have them do ridiculous things. Like one of the things I've seen people do constantly is the fly in. Yeah, let's do the fly in. So there's that as well. But if you see them going flying in one at a time, that's because I think they've broken this up into different boxes. Also notice, by the way, it's trying to tell you that this is going to happen first, and then this is going to happen second. Also, this guy here, this animation is happening on click. This animation is happening. Oh, are you both on click? I don't think you're both on click. Are you both on click? Earth. Hmm. Well, I'm not entirely sure why it's saying on click then, because it doesn't seem to be doing it on click. Unless, yeah, I don't know. I don't. I I don't know. I don't know. I tend not to use too many animations, especially my instructional and business ones. But I think it's important that you guys actually know about them because certainly people do them. And a big deal is what you want to do, especially if you're presenting, is know what you've got coming up. So, for example, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to make him fade into view. Okay, he's going to fade into view, and I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to make him uh, bounce in like that. All right, good deal. So now let's imagine I'm over on the slide before and I'm presenting. Now, what you don't see a lot is that when you're using PowerPoint, a lot of times you actually have, if you have two monitors, you'll actually see what the slide is. Like this is the presentation view, right? Or presenter view, not presentation view. I suppose this is the presentation view. So this is what I'm seeing. This is what's coming up. And so now if I was to go onto this slide and now hit that basically have it go. Anyway, what I'm hoping you kind of caught there is that you don't necessarily see when the animations are coming up. So you need to basically practice with your slides beforehand if you're putting them on there, or if you've just inherited somebody's slides, you need to basically check that out because I've gotten caught more than once, with maybe only two bullets showing, and then I think I'm done, and then another bullet point comes zooming on in there, right? So the more animations you do, the cooler I suppose it looks, but I don't know. It comes with the cost of professionalism, I think. But that said, in theory, you're trying to entertain them too, right? I mean, who wants to sit there and look at a bunch of slides? Also, notice that the content is fairly small. There's basically 7 points here plus an image for the 7 points. Excuse me. There are 4 points. The picture counts as sort of a point, and the title. So all in all, this entire slide has got 6 pieces of information. You want to be careful about putting too much on to each slide. And so I'm showing you bullet points and other ways to sort of distinguish between pieces of information. All right. So that's basically how I would take that document, the planets document, and convert it into a PowerPoint. And that's pretty well what I'm going to be asking you to do.